You got the PJs all picked out.
Uh,
But hold on, are you really ready? I mean, really.
That's the question, isn't it?
That's what today's deep dive is all about, making sure you're not just setting yourself up for a hobby,
Yeah.
but a real, sustainable, profitable venture.
Right.
And lucky for us, we've got some incredible insights from Noelle, an entrepreneur running not one, but two
Wow.
successful home-based businesses.
Ooh, that's impressive.
I know, right?
Yeah, Noelle's story, I think, is a great example of how you can turn your passion into profit.
Mm-hmm.
But it also highlights something that a lot of first-time entrepreneurs, they miss this.
Yeah.
It's the absolute necessity of really doing thorough market research.
I'm intrigued. What specific pitfalls did she encounter that research could have helped her avoid?
Well, she talks about a lot of practical things, issues like overstocking certain products.
Oh, yeah.
And even miscalculating her pricing, which ended up, giving her a much lower profit margin than she expected.
Yeah.
These are common problems, but honestly, good market research that can really help you kind of anticipate and avoid those.
Okay, so let's dive into some of her advice. She talks about this passion-profit balancing act.
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway there?
Well, it's all about grounding your enthusiasm in reality.
Okay.
You might have the best idea in the world, but if there's no market for it or if you can't produce and sell it profitably,
Right.
passion alone won't pay the bills.
Very true.
Mm.
Makes sense. Noelle also has what she calls this bare minimum reality check, this list of must-ask questions before you even think about launching. What are some of the big ones?
Well, first and foremost, can this actually be run from home? You have to think about the space. Do you have the resources? Can you handle like shipping and inventory?
all that stuff.
Then there's the financial side. How much investment will you really need versus what you have available? Do you have a safety net if things are slow at first?
It's so easy to gloss over those practical details when you're excited about an idea.
Oh, absolutely.
But, Noelle emphasizes one thing above all else, and that's consistency.
Right. It's one thing to have, a burst of energy at the beginning when you're first starting.
Yeah.
But can you commit to the long haul? Running a business, even one from home, it demands consistency, especially if you're talking about, growth and building a loyal customer base.
So Noelle didn't sugarcoat it either. She straight up warned about the sheer volume of research involved.
Yeah.
This is just a quick Google search. We're talking about a deep dive.
It's about gathering enough information so that you can make truly informed decisions.
Yeah.
Think about production. Are you making everything yourself? Are you outsourcing?
Oh, yeah.
What about your sales platform,
Oh.
Etsy, Shopify, your own website?
Right.
Each of these has pros and cons and costs to consider.
And then, of course, there's the big question. What makes you stand out? What's your unique selling proposition?
Noelle stresses that even seemingly small details of these can impact your success.
Oh.
And I think that's a perfect segue into the hard lessons that she learned about hidden costs.
Ah, yes, the overlooked expenses that can really sneak up on you.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about her pricing miscalculation. Go on with the cups.
So she was making these beautiful handmade cups and selling them for what she thought was a reasonable price.
Okay.
But she didn't initially factor in all those little costs, things like packaging,
Oh, right.
marketing materials, even her own time.
Oh, wow. So that $20 cup wasn't actually bringing in $20 profit.
Exactly. This is where accurately calculating your cost of goods sold is so crucial, because if you don't factor in all of the expenses, you could be working for pennies on the dollar without even realizing it.
Wow. And then there was the overstocking problem.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like research could have saved her some serious cash and storage space.
Absolutely. Noelle thought those rainbow mugs would fly off the shelves.
Yeah.
But the demand wasn't quite what she anticipated.
Ooh.
And this highlights the importance of what we call demand forecasting, which is essentially estimating future customer demand for your product.
So Noelle's experience is a great real-world example of why this market research matters. But I'm curious, are there other broader research areas that maybe she didn't touch on?
Well, yeah, Noelle's tips are a fantastic starting point.
Sure.
But there's always more to explore. Think about things like in-depth target audience analysis. Who are you really selling to? What are their needs, their preferences?
Okay, so going deeper than just basic demographics.
Exactly. And then there's competitive analysis. Who else is already selling similar products or services? What are their strengths and weaknesses? What can you do to stand out in that crowded marketplace?
Wow. It's like market research is this multi-layered puzzle,
It is.
and we need to be detectives gathering all the pieces to make these informed decisions.
I love that analogy.
And then one more layer to think about, our market trends. Is your idea riding a wave of popularity, or is it on its way out?
Right. You need to be ahead of the curve, not chasing a fading fad.
So you're saying market research isn't just about gathering information. It's about analyzing it, connecting the dots,
Yes.
and using it strategically to maximize your chances of success.
Exactly. It's about making your passion profitable and sustainable.
I like it.
It really is. It's like having a roadmap, to
Huh.
guide you through the whole process.
Yeah, and sometimes it can feel like a jungle out there.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's break down some of these research areas a bit further. You mentioned target audience analysis.
Hmm.
How do we really get to know those ideal customers?
It's really a combination of gathering both quantitative and qualitative data.
Okay.
On the quantitative side, you can use surveys to collect demographic information like, age, location, income, even preferences related to your specific product or service. And there are tools out there like Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, make it super easy to create and distribute surveys online.
Yeah, surveys are great for getting those hard numbers, but how do we go a little deeper and understand the why behind those choices? Those motivations and needs that are driving our target audience.
That's where those qualitative research methods come in things like interviews and focus groups.
Okay.
Those allow for much more in-depth conversations, where
Yeah.
you can really explore things like customer pain points, their decision-making processes, even their emotional connections to certain products or brands.
Interviews can feel a little intimidating, though. Any tips for making those conversations more natural and insightful?
The key is to ask open-ended questions.
Okay.
Encourage participants to really share their thoughts and experiences freely.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good listener, ask follow-up questions, and don't be afraid to probe a little deeper to uncover, those real golden nuggets of insight.
It's all about building that rapport
Yes,
and creating that safe space for some honest feedback.
absolutely.
Now, you also mentioned competitive analysis.
Yeah.
How do we scope out the competition without feeling like we're, spying?
Well, it's about being strategic and ethical in your approach.
Okay.
Start by simply observing, check out their websites, their social media, their product descriptions, pay attention to their marketing messaging. What are they highlighting? What are their customers saying in those reviews?
So we're basically playing detective, looking for clues about what works, what doesn't,
Exactly.
and where the opportunities
Is
are.
right. You can even sign up for their email lists, attend their webinars, or even make a small purchase just to experience their customer journey firsthand.
I like that approach. It's like undercover research.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about market trends, this ever-changing world. How do we stay ahead of the curve and make sure our business idea is relevant and not just a passing fad?
Well, this is where you need to become a trend spotter.
Okay.
And fortunately, there are a lot of resources available to help you.
Okay, great.
Start with those general trend forecasting websites like Trend Hunter, Springwise. Then look for those industry-specific publications, blogs, podcasts that really delve into emerging trends within your niche.
So we're casting a wide net, gathering information from different sources
Yeah.
and trying to piece together a picture of where the market is heading.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of social media.
Yeah.
Follow influencers, thought leaders in your industry. Pay attention to hashtags, trending topics. Even just scrolling through your own feed can spark ideas and insights.
It's amazing how much valuable information is just right there at our fingertips.
It really is.
Okay, so we've talked about target audience analysis, competitive analysis, trend spotting, all crucial elements of market research.
Yes.
But let's circle back to Noeli's experience with those pricing miscalculations and overstocking. How can research help us avoid those pitfalls?
Well, when it comes to pricing research, can help you determine what your target market is actually willing to pay.
Okay.
You can look at competitor pricing, you can conduct surveys to gauge price sensitivity, and even run small-scale experiments with different price points.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Yes.
A price that's attractive to customers, but also ensures that you're making a profit and covering all those costs.
Yeah.
Both obvious and hidden.
Precisely. And then regarding overstocking research can provide those valuable insights into demand forecasting.
Okay.
By understanding your target audience's buying habits, seasonality trends, and that overall market saturation, you can make much more informed decisions about inventory management.
So instead of ending up with a garage full of unsold products,
Right.
we can order strategically based on data and insights,
Exactly.
which ultimately helps us minimize waste and maximize profit.
Exactly. Market research really empowers you to make those data-driven decisions, reducing risk and increasing your chances of success. Remember, knowledge is power,
I like that.
especially in the world of entrepreneurship.
I love that knowledge is power. And speaking of empowering our listeners,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground today, but I want to make sure everybody walks away feeling equipped to actually do this research.
Uh-huh.
What are some tools and resources that they can use to get started?
Well, the great thing is you don't need, a fancy degree or expensive software to conduct really effective market research.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many free and affordable resources that are available online.
Okay.
And we already talked about a few like Google Forms and SurveyMonkey for creating those surveys.
Surveys are a great starting point.
Yes.
But what about those deeper dives? The interviews, the focus groups? Are there tools that can help with those?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. There are tools that can really streamline that process.
Okay.
For recording and transcribing interviews, you can use those free apps like Rev or Otter.ai.
Okay.
If you're conducting online focus groups, platforms like Zoom or Google Meet work really well.
Yeah.
And remember, even just having a structured list of open-ended questions
Yeah.
can make a huge difference in guiding those conversations and gathering those valuable insights.
Great tips.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned industry-specific publications and resources for trend spotting. Any particular favorites that you recommend?
It really depends on your niche,
Yeah.
But a few general resources that I find helpful are, sites like Nielsen and Statista.
Right.
They provide market data and reports on a wide range of industries.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can kind of delve into more specific trade publications and blogs that are relevant to your product or service.
Yeah. So much information out there. It can feel overwhelming.
It can.
But it sounds like the key is to be strategic and focused in our research approach.
Exactly. Don't try to do everything at once.
Right.
Start with a clear research question. What do you need to know to make those informed decisions about your business? Then identify the best resources and methods to gather that specific information.
I love that advice. Start with a clear question.
Yeah,
It's like having a compass to guide us through this vast sea of information.
absolutely. And it also helps to, break down your research into manageable chunks.
Okay.
Don't try to tackle everything at once.
Yeah.
Maybe you start with competitor analysis, then move on to target audience research, and then delve into trend spotting.
It's all about those baby steps, those small wins that build momentum and ultimately lead to a really solid foundation for our home-based businesses.
Exactly. And as you gather information, don't be afraid to adjust your course.
Yeah.
The beauty of market research is that it's an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm.
The market is constantly evolving, so your business needs to evolve with it.
Well said. And to our amazing listener who's taken this deep dive with us,
Yes.
remember you're not alone on this journey. Embrace the process, trust your instincts, and most importantly, have fun building a business that truly reflects your passion and serves a market that's excited to welcome you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Happy researching